Alright folks, so this is something I haven't done for a good while on the channel, but today I will be covering a video game, and this time it is also not a Sonic related video either. I'm covering a game I wanted to play for a good while, and that is Infamous Second Son. This is a 2014 action-adventure game that was developed by Sucker Punch Productions and published by Sony Computer Entertainment, made for the PlayStation 4. Overall, it is the third installment of the Infamous game series, but can be played standalone. It is specifically set 7 years after Infamous 2 in the year 2016. After Cole McGrath's sacrifice, the government has established a DUP who are hunting down the remaining conduits and dubbed them as bioterrorists. This game follows Deslin Rao, voiced by Troy Baker, who is a 24-year-old graffiti artist. He finds out that he has a unique ability to power absorb, which essentially allows him to absorb and copy the power of any conduct he comes in contact with. He has a brother named Reggie, voiced by Travis William, and often arrests his brother for vandalism. Our antagonist is Brooke Augenstein, voiced by Christine Dunford, who is the director of the DUP and a conduct herself with the power of over concrete. Overall, her actions in Deslin's town have made him travel to Seattle, which is under lockdown by the DUP. Reggie helps him in the game and they find other conducts. Hangaduratri, voiced by David Stanborough, who can control over smoke and overall makes Deslin discover his own power. Fetch Walker, voiced by Laura Daly, who's an ex-junkie who uses her neon powers to hunt down drug dealers. And UG Sims, voiced by Alex Walsh, who's a gamer who uses digital powers, who saves suspected conducts from the DUP. Sucker Punch began developing this game while the PlayStation 4 was still being designed. This was after they finished work on Infamous Festival of the Blood, and they had this project under the title Infamous 3. They began discussing with Sony about their desire to bring Infamous to the next PlayStation platform all the way since 2010. Overall, the lead system architect of the PS4, Mark Cerny, had visited the studio several times. Overall, both would discuss how powerful the system could get to create the world they wanted to create. The company also suggested improvements they could have made to the DualShock 4 gamepad. The game's designer, Jamie Grusmer, even travelled all the way down to Sony's headquarters in Japan to discuss this. They even found a way to adapt the controller's touchpad into their gameplay. Overall, 110 developers worked on this game, which was a small team to the director Nate Fox. However, he says this overall benefited very well while making the game. The company decided to set the game in their hometown Seattle because they would draw from their personal experiences in the open world's design. Producer Brian Fleming also felt that the city was not really featured in many games. He also felt the city's weather along with its old and new architecture could make it an interesting setting for a video game as well. The lighting effects from Deslin's powers also coupled with reflections in the setting to bring colour into Seattle's dark and rainy atmosphere. Mentioned in Deslin's powers, animated director Billy Harper considered the smoke powers challenging to design as the team wanted to make the powers feel more fluid than the previous games. Since designer Grimsmer previously worked with Bungie on the Halo series, they really wanted to bring the fluidity of first-person shooters to this game's combat. The reason they decided to do a premise built from the Infamous 2 sacrifice because they looked up that 78% of the players chose that ending in the game. This then gave them the opportunity to create a new character, and as well, Grimsmer has gone on to say that since they were removed to the PS4, they wanted to reach new audiences, and stating that a new character definitely helped with that. The idea to have Deslin wear a beanie was inspired by someone who wore one around the studio, and even mentioned that 4 of the 6 team members in a meeting were wearing hats. Hello, this is just a bit of a side note from future Shaun here. I completely blundered a part in this video, and it's totally down to me. Well, heck, who would it be down to apart from me? I'm the only one that, well, writes the scripts, records the audio, edits the video, then releases it. No one else is involved with this channel. But ignoring that, with this whole part here where I talk about a person that worked on the team, inspired the beanie idea, it's clearly meant to be Harper. I don't know why when I wrote down the script, like the info was there that it was Harper, I just wrote down that it was a random person, when clearly, as you've seen on the footage, it's Harper. He wears like the exact same beanie in that interview. But yeah, that was a complete mistake from me. The person was Harper that inspired the beanie, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the video. Deslin was also inspired by street artist Banksy. For his personality, the team's main thought was, what if Johnny Knoxville had powers? Fox overall felt that Deslin is relatable in the sense of being flawed while trying to live up to an older sibling. He overall called the game a hero's journey. The company Digital Domain was brought on to do the game's motion capture work. Fox overall directed the actors' performances, but overall found they didn't need much guidance for their roles. The game's NPCs were also mostly motion captured. The developers contacted casting agencies and asked their friends and families if they would like to be extras in a video game. Overall, 75 people were then scanned in a 3-day period. Specifically, they were seated and told not to move or smile as a high-definition camera captured a 3D model of their faces. A 360-degree setup also captured the actors' moving bodies, and mannequins were also used to create different clothing styles. The game was announced by Fox at a Sony conference in New York on February 20th, 2013. A debut trailer was also shown, showing the game's premise and lead. It was then privately demoed at E3 2013, and the release date of March 2014 was confirmed at a PS4 launch party event on November 14th, 2013. The game finished development on February 25th, 2014. It was then announced on March 8th, 2014 that pre-order sales had surpassed The Last of Us in the UK. 2 special editions were produced. The first was the limited edition, which included Cole's Legacy Mission Pack, which explained the story events in between Infamous 2 and this game. And then the collector's edition included a unique box cover, a replica of Deslin's beanie, 8 pins that feature on his vest, an inclusive in-game vest, and a DUP themed patch. All pre-ordered copies of the game also included 4 different vests for Deslin. For DLC at E3 2014, Infamous First Light was announced and released on August 26, 2014 in America and August 27, 2014 in Europe. This is where you can control Fetch. This is overall a standalone expansion and you don't need the main game to play it, but ownership of the main game grants players access to exclusive content and music. Critically, Metacritic gave this game a 80 out of 100, Edge gave it a 7 out of 10, Eurogamer gave it a 7 out of 10, GameSpot gave it an 8 out of 10, and IGN gave it an 8.7 out of 10. The game sold over 1 million copies in 9 days, making it one of the best selling PS4 games as well, and as well being the fastest selling in its own series. It was then reported in June 2019 that it sold 6 million copies. Personally, I think this game gives us a fun experience with its combat. However, it was very repetitive at times, and honestly the game did crash for me, even with playing it on the PS4. Although again, it was a fun and even beautiful time, so I'm going to give it an overall 3.5 out of 5 or a 7 out of 10. So yeah, this is overall a really fun game, and I was actually expecting the game to be quite different. I don't know what I was expecting, because I seen just like random gameplay of it or just cutscenes, etc. But it was always just out of context, and I thought this would have been a very much more bigger story, something more like Chronicle now thinking of it. But at the end of the day, I really had a fun week playing this game, and yeah, I've got no complaints. I thought the story was really great, and yeah. What are your thoughts on the games, guys? Please comment down below, and if you have any extra facts about the game, please also comment them down below because I'd love to hear it. If you liked the video, please like the video, and if you have been liking the content on my channel for a while now, if you've seen more than this video, please consider also subscribing. Honestly, commenting, liking, subscribing, whatever isn't the main priority to me. The main priority to me is to get into edit a video and also researching into something I'm interested in. But I can't lie, as someone who's wanted to do YouTube, it's an extra perk if you get what I mean. But yeah, that's all I have to say for this video, and I'll see you next time.
Intruder alert. Intruder alert. Intruder alert. Go, go, go! Boy that fuck!